Happy Sunday, everybody. First pitch here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. I'm your host, Matt Josephs, Mid-Major Matt on sportsmemo.com. Joining me from wagertalk.com, Steve Merrill and Dave Koken. Dave, how was your day yesterday? What can we expect from you today?
Well, yesterday was fine. Coastal Carolina was the 5% play. Don't have many of those, and I like it when they win that easily. I mean, that game was just a cakewalk, especially as far as the spread's concerned. So, it was good. And today I've got two NFL plays, one side, one total. The total is a free play that's available right now on my homepage at Wager Talk, and one baseball play. And I believe that will be it for me. I am not going heavy in this first week of the NFL. I know some people are, and I hope they do well. But for me, it's like I'm going to get my feet wet, but that's as far as I'm going with this card.
That's Dave on wagertalk.com. Also on wagertalk.com is Steve Merrill. Steve, how was your day yesterday? What do we got for you today?
Yeah, split out in college football yesterday. I finished it off, though, with an easy blowout on Texas Saturday night, so that was nice. I do have 3 NFL plays for Sunday, but more importantly, also an NBA best bet, and that goes here in 1 hour at 1 o'clock Eastern. It's Game 6 between the Nuggets and Clippers. So I do have a strong NBA best bet along with a couple of early kickoffs in the NFL. So I made a daytime 3-pack for just $39, which goes at 1 o'clock Eastern. And then I have a 5% of my strongest play for Sunday. It's the nighttime game. So if you're joining us live right now, get that daytime 3-pack NBA NFL. If you're joining us on the replay on YouTube this afternoon, that 5% for Cowboys Rams is still available at wagertalk.com. And one quick note, free baseball play. I do have a free baseball play up there as well.
Yeah, and I went 5-2 in college football yesterday. It was a good day for me, and we enjoyed it. That Coastal Carolina game was a nice little capper to the college football day. I got a boatload of stuff on my page. I got everything that you want today because I got 2 baseballs and a bunch of footballs, and then I have just the prop package. If you're a prop player, I got 5 props that I like for today. $12 on sportsmemo.com. If you guys were with us yesterday, you saw basically we just do quick hits on every baseball game. We'll rip through the schedule and get you guys ready for the baseball slate for today. So we'll start out with Braves and Nationals. Kyle Wright still has that issue second time through the order for the Braves, going up against Max Scherzer, the ace for the Nats, Dave.
Curiously, the line's been bet down some, but not with my money because Kyle Wright has been not good. And, look, the Nationals are still thinking they've got a shot, and they've got their main guy on the mound today. I'm not laying 160 even with the Nationals considering the team stuff, but I don't want any part of Kyle Wright.
Steve, is this a first 5-inning -0.5 maybe on the Nats?
Well, Matt, what I said a few shows ago, and I said earlier in the week as well, the Nationals do or die a week for them. They'd won 4 out of 5, and then they blew that 5-0 lead against Atlanta a few nights ago on Thursday. They've gone 1-2 since, but they lost by a run both times. They won by a run. So I think they're still playing hard. I do think if you're going to play this game, the run line either way could have some value. I look for another tight game.
Orioles and the Yankees, J.A. Happ, coming off the most pitches he's thrown this year, 113 in Buffalo against the Blue Jays, going up against John Means, coming off his best start of this season. Dave, we'll start with you.
Well, both teams' bats were pretty quiet yesterday. You might get some decent pitching here. I would check the weather, of course, because if it's blowing out in Yankee Stadium, that can be a problem. But I actually maybe would lean very lightly to the under.
Steve, do you trust Happ at all after throwing 113 pitches last game?
No, that's my concern with the under, but I would agree if I don't play this game, I would lean there as well. The Orioles made Montgomery look like an all-star yesterday. They have 1 run in all 3 of their last games, 0, 1, and 1. So 2 runs total their last 3 games combined against the Yankees, and they have just 10 total hits. So I do think the under makes some sense here.
By the way, for the DFS players, Renato Nunez, 11 of 21 with 4 homers in his career against J.A. Happ. Just something to point out there. Obviously, we don't do much on the double headers, Phillies and Marlins. We do know the first matchup is Ramon Rosso, who is the 29th pitcher for the 29th player for the Phillies against Sixto Sanchez, going up his former organization. And we do not know the second game. We know you don't make a pick, Dave, but is there something you're at least looking at or looking forward to going ahead?
I have to say this every time. I don't even look at doubleheaders.
Okay,
I immediately scratch them off.
Just saying, just in case for there's new people in the room.
That's basically 100% for me. I just don't look at them.
Steve?
There's just too many games, and if I can eliminate a few right off the top, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I don't mess much with the doubles either, but I will say that the Marlins offense looks in pretty good current form. They've only gone under in 1 of their last 10 games, so maybe some in-game stuff here, especially game 2. If the bullpens are used heavy in game 1, maybe look at the over in game 2.
That's what you look at in game 1. Watch game 1 and see if you can gather some info for game 2.
Right.
Red Sox and Rays, Martin Perez, who's been good against the Rays this season against Charlie Morton, Dave.
Yeah, he has, but I don't want any part of the Red Sox. That's been another thing that I've adhered to all season. I think I played them twice, once early in the season and lost that, and then I played a first five with them with Eovaldi when he was going well, and I won that. So I'm 1-1 with the Red Sox, and I think I'll leave it at that. I don't want to lay this much, but Tampa Bay is the only side I'd look at.
Feels like Charlie Morton's still getting built up, Steve. Only 57 pitches last time out.
Yeah, and I would expect him to get better as things go on. And keep in mind, the Rays were due for a little bit of a correction. They got swept in that 2-game road series at Washington earlier this week, and then they lost 4-3 the first game here. But they've since outscored them 16-5 on Friday and Saturday. So I would say it's Rays or pass in this one.
Pirates and Royals, Cool and Keller. Keller's made 4 interleague starts and didn't allow a run in 3 of those starts. So he's been pretty good against the National League so far this year, Dave.
He's been great. He's been terrific. The guy's, he's just giving up singles, and that's about it, basically. And Chad Kuhl looks like he had a nice little run starting games, but he's a relief pitcher, and he really belongs back in the bullpen for the Pirates. The price will keep me out of it, but the Royals look like the right side to me.
Steve, the Royals have won 5 straight, playing some good baseball right now.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Matt, right before that, they'd lost 7 straight, so they definitely are heating up here. And, of course, playing Pittsburgh at home is a great way to heat up. You can make a case, well, you don't want to lay a money line like this with a bad team ever. Well, Kansas City's gone 2-0 on Friday and Saturday with that logic.
Tigers and White Sox, Turnbull against Stever. Turnbull has 3 walks or more in 5 straight starts, so the control is a massive issue for him, Dave.
It is. The White Sox with an unknown on the mound in Stever, who's never pitched an inning above Class A. But the White Sox continue to just destroy bad teams. They're just killing bad teams. And the Tigers fall into the bad team category. So I think the edge belongs to the White Sox here.
Steve, Stever last year threw 69% strikes, walked only 1.7 hitters per 9 innings. But I feel like in Major League Baseball, you potentially have to back that strike number down a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, he might get away with it, obviously, with, the Tigers here. They're not a good team. And the White Sox have just been red hot offensively. They not only have won 7 of their last 8 games, but they've put up 5 runs or more in 6 of those 7 wins. So I'd like the over here. The question is, can the Tigers get it there? I mean, a team total White Sox over has been making a lot of money recently.
Cubs and Brewers, Mills and Hauser. Hauser's last 6 starts, he's 0-4 with a 7.34 ERA and a whip of 1.62. That's not going to get it done, Dave.
Nope, sure isn't. But I still think the Brewers might be the right side here. Alec Mills, just a guy that he's one of those guys who I watch pitch, and it's like this guy's stuff is really marginal. I think he's more a bullpen guy long term for the Cubs. The Brewers are not getting bets from me. They're only getting leans from me. I think I'll keep it that way.
Steve?
Yeah, I mean, that 19-0 blowout of Detroit, kind of throws the numbers off a bit. If you look at all the other games over the past week, they're not scoring a lot of runs. In fact, if you throw out that 19-0 win, the Brewers have scored now 3 runs or less in all their other 5 games during that 6-game span. And the under makes some sense here. It's been a really low-scoring series so far this weekend.
Reds and Cardinals. Malley's been really good. Martinez on the mound for the Cardinals, facing his first non-Twins outing so far this year. Dave, what are you thinking for this one?
It's just Carlos Martinez. Obviously, his first start was pretty much of a train wreck. But his first start back, which was his last start, the velocity did return. So maybe that's something encouraging. But I don't trust him at all anymore. And Malley's pitched pretty good ball for the Reds. He's not a stud by any means, but I think he's the better pitcher here. The problem is I don't trust the Reds, and that gets me out of the game. I know they win one here and there, but they're just a bad baseball team. So the team stuff favors the Cardinals. What gets me out of the game is the pitching matchup. I just can't back Carlos Martinez.
10 strikeouts, 1 walk, 109 pitches last time out for Malley, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just like Friday when I was last on the show. We talked about the Cardinals are the better overall team, the better offensive team, yet the Reds had the starting pitching edge Friday night, and they won that game 3-1. Yesterday, the Cardinals come back with a 7-1 win, but I agree, Matt. Once again, the Reds have the better pitching edge here. I mean, Martinez, only his second start after getting COVID, 12.3 ERA on the season. I need to see him pitch a lot better before I'm going to try to guess when he's going to turn things around.
A's and Rangers, Montes and Lynn. Last time out, Montes looked good against Houston. I don't know if I can necessarily trust him to do it again, Dave, but at least there's some signs of recovery there.
That was a confidence builder for Montes. And I thought I'll spend a little more time on this one. I thought that was a great move by Melvin to, instead of giving him what looked like the easier matchup, he moved him to a day later and gave him a tougher matchup. He put him out there against Zach Greinke, and he did well. So that's a confidence booster for him. But Lance Lynn appeared to maybe sulk in his first start after not getting traded to the Dodgers. He's back to being Lance Lynn, which means his metrics aren't that good, but he pitches better than his metrics would indicate. I actually would lean to the Rangers here. I think they've got a shot in this game. But Texas is kind of on my no-play list, so it's more, I think, some value on Texas because they've got Lynn on the mound. But I'm not going to pull the trigger on it.
Big loss in the lineup for the A's with Matt Chapman out for the season, Steve.
Yeah, now they're facing one of the better pitchers in the league. And by the way, this game, Texas does qualify my mathematical underdog system today. It's a developmental system I used about 20 years ago. I still use it as a filter. It's normally ugly teams. It's not an automatic play for me. But when, a pitcher like Lynn and the Rangers qualified, I think they're actually worth a look today for that reason.
Astros and Dodgers, Sunday night baseball tonight, we hope. Of course, there could be changes if the air quality gets worse there. We do not have a pitcher yet for the Dodgers. We do know Zach Greinke going for the Astros, Dave.
It's going to be a bullpen game for the Dodgers anyway. So, there'll be, I would say, maybe small favorites here, $1.30-ish, $1.20-ish. And that's all I can tell you because beyond that, we don't know who's going to be in the lineup.
Steve, how about momentum? You've talked about before where the Astros with a very nice win yesterday.
Yeah, they needed. They were 1-8 of previous 9 before they get that outright underdog win. And by the way, once again, you either play the underdog outright on the money line or you take the Dodgers -1.5 run line without even knowing anything else in this game tonight. I know that's the only way I'd be looking to play it. It's been working all season long.
Mets and Jays in Buffalo. Peterson, a 7.20 ERA in his last 3 starts. Ryu had been amazing. Got roughed up a bit by the Yankees last time out, Dave.
He did, but Ryu's a guy who likely bounced back. I have no disagreement with the price being where it is. The price keeps me out of it. I'm not laying $1.50 or thereabouts, but I'm not going against the tough lefty here.
Steve?
Yeah, one thing about the Buffalo Blue Jays here, these games have not been soaring over the total like they were a couple months ago at home. One Friday night got there just because the Mets scored 18 runs, but Toronto's got 2 runs or less in all 4 of their last 4 home games since that big output in Game 1 against the Yankees. They've scored now 3 runs or less in 4 straight, so I'm no longer riding that over train in Buffalo.
Should be noted 20-plus mile-an-hour winds in this game, but is moving across the field. So I don't know, do with that what you would like, but 20-mile-an-hour winds potentially in Buffalo this afternoon for the later 3:07-ish type start time, which is an odd start time. Angels and Rockies, Heaney and Castellani, Dave.
I'd much rather have Heaney. Not that he's a great pitcher, but Castellani's he's not much. But the Angels at that price, no. And you also got to watch the Sunday lineup for the Angels because they gave Trout last Sunday off, for instance. And, if they decide to rest a couple of guys today because the game doesn't mean anything, I wouldn't want to be laying that kind of lumber.
Steve, 2 interesting pitchers here in Coors Field.
Yeah, your first 5 inning cash, Matt. I know we've talked about how that's done fairly well this year in Coors Field. I actually had the over for the game itself. That did not get there yesterday, so I was paying close attention to this one. Only 7 runs. Neither team hit the ball well. Colorado had only 6 hits total. LA had only 8. So I'm staying away from the over today. I don't like the offensive momentum for either of these teams.
Indians and Twins, McKenzie, who's looked good against Pineda, my DFS pitcher for the day. Pineda had great numbers against Cleveland last year and is looking like he's returning to form, Dave.
Yeah, he's healthy, and he's facing a lineup that is, again, not hitting, which is typical for the Indians. And you can't find fault with what McKenzie's done so far. Looks like a pitcher's duel.
Steve?
Yeah, a rare situation last night when the Indians scored more than 3 runs and lost. I think it's only the 4th time this season that they've scored 3 or more and not won a game. Their 3 straight losses before that, 1 run or less, 3 straight games. So their offense maybe started heating up a little bit last night. By the way, I've got a free play. This is my free play for Sunday baseball. It's on my page right now with analysis. Free play for Indians Twins at wagertalk.com.
We'll skip over the Padres and Giants, who are playing tonight. The positive was a false positive, so the 2 teams will be playing a doubleheader. We only know that it's Clevenger and Richards going for the Padres. No idea for the Giants, so we'll skip that. Mariners and D-backs, the final game. Dunn's got some interesting numbers, but he's still walking too many people, Dave.
That's the problem. So, you look at the ERA, and it's not bad. But even in the starts where he's limited runs, his analytics aren't good at all. Because if you keep walking people, eventually you're going to get in trouble. And that makes him a tough guy to bet on. And as for Luke Weaver, I've given up trying to figure him out. He's replaced Robbie Ray on the Arizona roster as the guy who's almost totally unpredictable and therefore very difficult to make a wager on.
By the way, Robbie Ray only gave up 1 run yesterday.
Yeah.
That was
and
pretty
only
good
2 walks.
That was pretty good. He has good stuff. It's just he can't harness it.
But that's the problem with Robbie Ray. The market lined up against him yesterday, and he did a Robbie Ray. He went out there and had decent control for a change, and got himself a victory. He's just one of those guys you're best off staying away from. And I think Weaver fits that. He kind of fits that category as well. He's the opposite of Robbie Ray. He's not wild in terms of balls and strikes, but he's wild in the strike zone. He gets right down the middle sometimes, and I don't care if you're throwing 96 or not. If you're down the middle, these guys are going to hit it.
Steve, what's your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, it's interesting. When I was on the show Friday, Andrew mentioned that he had a best bet on Arizona in that game. And the more I looked at it, the more we discussed it, I kind of started liking Arizona as well. And one stat I gave out was that they had not played many losing teams this season. They'd only played they played 37 games against winning teams, 500 or better. And they'd only played at that point 8 games against losing teams. They went out and they won that game. Did not like him yesterday, laying a big price. You can't lay that kind of price with Arizona. But in a situation like here on Sunday, I think they're worth a look. I'm not sure the Mariners are that much better. Problem is, once again, minus 145. I'm just not in a hurry to back one of the 2 or 3 worst teams in baseball laying that kind of juice.
By the way, Dave, is the buy sign off of Gallen after yesterday? 2 straight quote-unquote rough starts?
No, because I think the first of those was only after the 5th inning. And he had a bad game yesterday. If he has another bad one next time out, might be time to reassess, but I think he'll be all right.
All right, so that is the slate for today. Before we go, Dave, tell everybody, wagertalk.com, what can they find on your page for today?
NFL best bet, an MLB best bet, and a free Major League Baseball play. I am not going to play the NHL game. I'm going to stay out of that one. So that's what I've got today, 3 plays, one of which is free. Make sure and go grab it.
Steve?
Yeah, I've got a free baseball play right there for the afternoon action, free play in the Indians-Twins games at wagertalk.com. And then I've got 3 NFL and also the NBA best bet, which goes here at 1 o'clock Eastern Day between the Nuggets and Clippers. I've got 3 daytime plays, 2 NFL, NBA, and then my strongest play is the 5% Sunday nighter between the Rams and Cowboys. So whether you're joining us early or late, get all of our best bets, wagertalk.com. And Matt, I know you're at sportsmemo.com, of course.
Yep, sportsmemo.com. You can get all my plays in one package, or if you're just a props person, you can get a couple of props I like today in the NFL. We will do a longer show coming up at 2 o'clock tomorrow, as we usually do with First Pitch. Steve will be on at 3 with the NBA show. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to hit the bell. You'll never miss a show. Enjoy your NFL Sunday and your MLB Sunday. We will be back tomorrow, 2 o'clock here on the YouTube Wager Talk channel.